Today I'm standing in front of Root Arranger, a highly successful plumbing company, and I'm about to interview the founders, Brittany and Jordan Beebe. And they've actually, in 3.5 short years, made it their mission to get acquired, which they did recently, but they've scaled Root Arranger to $3 million per month in revenue. They have over 90 vans out on the road, and again, they did it in under 4 years' time, and they've already been acquired. Now I'm about to interview them, figure out how they got to where they're at, some of the challenges that they faced on their journey, and how you too could start a company and get acquired in under 5 years. Make sure you stay to the end of the video, and if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate it. It would mean the world to me if you would consider smashing the like button and subscribing if you haven't already.
On 3. 1, 2, 3, Rangers!
So you've got a lot of people out on the road. We're talking like 90 people out on the road, right? Yeah. What has been your best month of all time?
Our best revenue month is 2.7 million. I think as we're starting to get into our busier season right now, we're definitely approaching the $3 million mark. I think it's very obtainable.
Yeah.
So that's where we're shooting for. I say our average is definitely in the twos, low twos. Yeah, we're looking forward to getting over that 3 hump.
Yeah. What is the #1 technician's best month that they've had, like as an individual? Do you know? Roughly.
Our best technicians month is close to 500,000. Our best supervisors month is close to 700,000.
Truly incredible.
Yeah.
You don't see that really out in the world.
No, those are, I would say respectively, the best supervisor and best technician in the country.
When did you start Root Arranger?
We started in August of 2017.
Okay.
So I was 28, Jordan was 33.
Gotcha. And
Yeah.
it was the collective. I mean, Jordan obviously told me the story, but I'd love to just hear from you. You know, you were the one that made him basically go become a plumber like 5 years previous to Root Arranger, correct?
Well, it was funny. In the beginning, he didn't really know what he wanted to do, so he went and worked for his uncles, but he really wasn't getting paid enough to pay the bills, and I was pregnant. So we started JB Plumbing, and I was his Craigslist marketer. So I would go on there and do all these little ads to try to get him business. And he'd probably get like 1 job a week. And so I would be 9 months pregnant, coming home, and he was going through a little depression, wrapped up in a Iowa Hawkeyes Snuggie, just playing an exorbitant amount of hours of Call of Duty with an In-N-Out burger bag next to him and a spit bottle from his skull on the other side. I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? Like, I'm gonna give birth next month. You need to go find a job. And I loved Craigslist. My dad put me on that. So I found him that job from ARS. Wow. And it said, it actually was, you can make up to 75,000, but he ended up making 100,000 his first year. And really that just, it was a different model. So they were more drain centric, and he came from more, which that does Jordan no justice. He's a great speaker. He's a people person. He wants to do sales and be around people. He was just in this tiny little, like just building little houses in 120-degree weather with the pipes, new construction, whereas ARS was more service-based. So they were going after old pipes, older homes, and he was able to use his sales abilities.
Sure. So. It's so cool to see that the experience that he got doing all of that, though, helped in a massive way lead to everything that you built and being able to get acquired. Yeah. Really, really cool to see how that all kind of plays out and unfolds. If you could attribute one thing to getting acquired, to building a company that could get acquired, you know, what would that one thing be?
Very simple answer for me. It's you have to be scalable, repeatable, and sustainable. So they have to know that when they buy you, I think a big mistake people make is, I've seen it over and over, is someone will start a business, they're a one-man show, and they just don't know how to get out of the field. Well, how do you sell a business if like the whole business is dependent on you? You have to be able to show a private equity firm that you could die tomorrow and that business will go on. So just having a model that's organized, having marketing strategies. Basically, every department can survive without you.
I hope you're enjoying the business tour so far. Really quick, if you wouldn't mind, if you know of a business that you think would be a really cool tour, or if you own a business that you would like to get featured, all you have to do is text 480-418-5339, the word business, okay? Again, 480-418-5339, the word business, and we'll see if you qualify or if the business qualifies for us to go ahead and tour it. Now let's just go ahead and get back to the tour. You know, when we're talking all of the equipment, the truck, the whole thing, how much does that truck cost?
So the truck's like $40,000, the wrap's $3,500. They have to have a sewer machine, multiple sewer machines. I would say probably $5,000 in material, or not material, equipment and tools. And then they've got uniforms.
65 out the door probably. What is the average thing that you're getting the call for? So like that, you know, somebody calls in and the plumber goes out. What is that average product that they're doing? And then what is the average upsell, the most common upsell that they're selling?
So the common problem, because the marketing's very targeted. So I think a lot of plumbing, they're just going for all plumbing. We're really focusing on drains. So we're focusing on a house, you know, in the 50s with cast iron piping, and the whole thing's got to get replaced, and it's a $30,000 job. So we're targeting that specific type of clientele. So we're targeting those markets, whether it's South Scottsdale, Sun City, Glendale, all of those areas. So when we go there, the typical issue is that they have a backed up drain. So they have maybe shit water coming up their bathtub, they're flooding, multiple drains backing up. They're gonna call us, and we call that a mainline backup. From there, the upsell would be to get a camera down the line to figure out why that's happening. So typically you're gonna find, especially like Central Phoenix, it's gonna be root infiltration. So all the foliage and the trees have kind of went into the piping, broke through the piping, and that has to get dug up. So the closer's job, once they get the camera down, they can identify, is there a belly in the line? Is the pipe burst? Are there roots going through it? From there, they're gonna sell them a replacement. So it's either gonna be a spot replacement, or the roots will just grow all the way through. At that point, you'll just see like logs come through people's, come through people's sewer systems.
Sure.
I mean, you're backing up for a reason. It's because the water can't get through.
Yeah. Now I noticed a lot of vans outside. You've got like 90 vans, I think we were talking about. Maybe not all here, but spread out between Vegas and Tucson. Are you outsourcing anything that you just mentioned to anybody else? I mean, when you talk about digging things up, or is that all Rooter Ranger?
That's all Rooter Ranger. So the only thing that we outsource would be like concrete, break up, haul off, and then pour back.
Got it.
And then we have like some subs. Let's say you have to go through somebody's house, which we're trying to get away from because we have new technology. So a lot of people are going to trench through somebody's tile. They have to put it back. We have trenchless options now to make it a little easier on the customer. But I mean, if you have to fix a piping through the wall, you're going to have to cut through the wall.
It's a drywall guy.
Yeah, sub go in and do that.
Do all that.
But everything else in-house.
Interesting. Yeah. What's the most important thing when it comes to marketing? You talk about specifically marketing, you know, Sun City or, Old Town or wherever it might be. I mean, are you talking pay-per-click marketing? Like what, in your experience, is the best type of marketing that you can do?
So in my experience, like if you asked me a year ago, I would say PPC, but I think it's gotten really, really competitive. And I think a hard lesson that we had to learn is that you have to be dynamic in your marketing. So you can never have any of your eggs all in one basket because you never know when it's going to switch up on you. Your whole business could crumble. If you're trying to employ 200 people and you just have all your eggs in PPC, if one thing changes in the algorithm and you can't figure it out, like you're fucked.
Yeah.
So my advice, like what I found the most success in and why we're doing marketing numbers we've never done before, is being dynamic and having it everywhere. So I've got it in PPC. We've got stuff even in, it's new, Apple Click or Apple Connect. We've got radio, billboards. We've done TV commercials. We do Yelp, Angie's List, social media, GMB, LSA.
Everywhere.
You have to go everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is so important.
Facebook groups, it's just next door. That way, I mean, every single day we're commission-based. Our guys are commission-based. If they don't get fed that day, then you're going to lose them. They're not going to come back, and then you really can't hit your numbers if you don't have the people.
Sure.
So it is a volatile business model, but once you figure it out, I mean, it could be very profitable.
You went full-fledged into being a technician.
Yeah.
I mean.
And new construction too, not even what we do. So new construction was like totally different. Like I was in a house all by myself.
So
There's
you
nobody else
You
there.
were plumbing it. You were plumbing the whole house.
Yeah.
Got it.
So it's just framed. I'm out there at this house by myself. Like she would come out there and bring me lunch. You know, I made $100,000 and I was like, hey, I'm like moving up in this company. Like I'm telling her like every day, I'm like, hey, they really like me. And the next year I made, I don't know, 200. Next year I made 400. Next year I made 600, 800. Like just kept going up.
Wow.
You know? And eventually I just naturally, just through like being surrounded around competitive, very high level people and being mentored, and also just like my tenacity and like wanting to be the best, I became #1 salesman in the country.
Wow.
They had 50,000 employees and like there was nobody anywhere close. And I was making over $1 million as an employee. I mean, I went and bought a Lamborghini. They were like, what the fuck are employees coming to work in a Lamborghini? Like, so I won't say his name, but he said, hey, when the company sells, you've been a huge part of growing this. I'm gonna give you $10 million.
Yeah.
So they were getting prepared. They were getting to a point of where they were about to get into an LOI, and he terminated me. And I was like, completely sideswiped. So I went and worked for another company. They were struggling. We turned their company around immediately. I took my whole team over there, everybody that was with me that I had trained from the beginning, because by this time I had built a team.
Sure.
Right? And so they all went over there. We killed it. Like the revenue that they were at, they were like doing like $100,000 a month. The first month that we showed up through their doors, from beginning of the month to the end, we did $980,000 their first month.
Wow.
With our first month there. And so they were like, holy cow. And he owed me a bonus. It was a small bonus, it was like $60,000, and he didn't pay me. And I had the feelings of that clicked in immediately, and I told her, I was like, fucking done, start my own fucking company.
Yeah.
And so me and her started put together our plans. We got 2 of our closest confidants that had been with us for a long time, and we sat down on kitchen table, night after night after night after night. We still have the book, and just wrote out all of the plans, wrote out the goals, how much revenue per employee, like everything. I look back on it and it's like, you just see lines cross through, and we did it through years. We planned out, like, I think it was a 5-year plan. We planned out a 5-year plan.
To sell.
To sell.
So you built to sell.
It's day one.
Day one.
Day one, like we were selling in 5 years, and we were like, we're $100 million. Like we're gonna sell at $100 million. And so that was the goal from day one. And so we wrote out first year, second year, third year. And like when I reflect back on the book, it's pretty amazing. It happened quick. Like we sold in 3 years.
Sure.
But like there's just lines crossed through all the goals.
What do you think, out of curiosity, the difference is between somebody who builds to sell day one and somebody who builds just for cash flow?
Urgency. Not just urgency for yourself, but urgency for other people to understand like what they can do in a short amount of time with their own lives. And I think that through that, honestly, like our biggest thing that we talk about in our meetings is never to focus on anything monetarily.
What would you say the #1 challenge is for somebody maybe watching that, I don't know, maybe they're thinking about starting a company, maybe even in the plumbing industry or another home service industry, that the challenge could be similar?
So the challenges would be like always that you need to put your ego aside, because it's a certain personnel that wants to be an entrepreneur, and it's because you think you know best. And if you can be humble enough to know where you don't know best and fill that role, you can just expedite your whole process significantly. Because if I know I'm not good at this, why am I gonna sit here and ram my head against a wall over and over when I could just hire that out? That can be hard sometimes because you wanna do everything, you wanna think that you're good at everything.
Yeah.
And the reality is you're not, and no one is. You have to have a vision, first of all. Like, what is your vision? You have to know what it is if you're gonna get other people to buy into it and other people to follow you. So, and you have to be able to provide, people, because it's a people business.
Yep.
It's a field business. You have to be able to provide them something that they can't get somewhere else. So here, they're getting a lot different than they would anywhere else. Typically, a plumbing operator is gonna be in his 60s. He's not gonna have the best up and coming technology. It's not gonna be the most hip, fun environment. They're just so behind the 8 ball, the reviews, everything. They're not looking at that stuff. They're running it like they would run it 30 years ago.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman sitting right here. You just did a team meeting a little while ago,
Yeah.
right? And what was his name sitting right
Cornell.
Cornell?
Yeah.
He was he the guy that did, you said, I believe, 300K in a
He
month?
did 380, 390, almost 400.
So 381. So what do you mean by that? He brought in 381 in revenue to the company, correct?
Yes.
Okay, got
Yes.
it. And he's a technician?
Yeah, so we have a two-man close. So our technicians are relationship builders. They're going out to the client's house. They're establishing genuine relationships. They're showing empathy. They're the frontline consultants.
Sure.
They are the guys that are in the door that, like, they're establishing the concrete relationship and building value on the company, themselves, and the way we do things. And ultimately getting to a place of where there's a closer, our field supervisors, who are going to get a lead set to them because they carry specialized equipment that the technician doesn't carry. They'll work together as a two-man team to ultimately get their customers' job taken care of.
How normal is that number? I mean, like, I guess what is the average plumber, the average technician do in Rooter Ranger, and then in the world in general?
In the world in general, I would say you hear a lot of technicians doing probably $40,000 to $60,000 a month.
Wow.
Our expectations for a technician after they go through our 3-week training, it's crazy. 3 weeks is $100,000 a month. So there's guys who have been in this industry for 20 years and they're doing $60,000. Like, you know, you go to Parker and Sons, a great company. You know, Paul Kelly's a great friend of mine, but you go to there, the supervisors are doing $150,000.
Sure.
Right? Their technicians are doing $60,000 to $80,000.
How many total technicians do you guys have?
Entire company, probably 90. Yeah, 90 trucks on the road.
90 trucks?
Yep.
Between Tucson, Vegas, and Phoenix? Or?
We have like 200 employees total, and 90 of them are, I would say, are technicians.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So 200, and you're in 3 markets now?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we were in 6 markets. The other 3 were in California. And when she first came back, you know, after the private equity firm had purchased the companies, the California locations were beyond repair.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were absolutely.
California's got to be a tough market too, I'd imagine.
Extremely tough. I mean, I give major kudos. I have
Yeah.
friends who have ran $100 million plus companies there and exited out of them very quickly and done well. And they live there. I would say the biggest thing is if me and Brittany lived there and then we ran Phoenix and Tucson and Vegas remotely like we do out of Phoenix, we could have been very successful with it. We had California, one of the locations doing $1 million a month alone. But the challenge is personnel out there for sure. Laws.
Oh yeah, being a business owner, a landlord in California, yeah,
It's very, very challenging.
can be very difficult.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's definitely in the benefit of the employee. Let's
Oh,
put
for
it that
sure,
way.
yeah.
So that was where they had gotten to that place where the challenges were insurmountable.
Sure.
And so we just decided, hey, for us to move forward, we'll open locations somewhere else, but not California.
And tell me about the $33 special.
Plumber at your door in 33 minutes, or your $33 drain specialist for free.
Wow.
So, you know, we really are focused about getting to our customers very quickly. A lot of clients that have emergencies, they call in, they get, you know, plumbing companies calling and saying, oh, you know, we're gonna be there in 2 weeks, you know, a week or days. And so we pride ourselves on being there promptly and high level of customer service. So,
Which is truly incredible.
yeah.
I bet you get a lot of business doing that.
We do. Very challenging though. Very, very challenging. So
What happens if you're there in like 34 minutes?
It's free.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's 33 minutes are free.
Wow.
It's you know, it's one of those things where we have to be very, very precise with what we do. So it's a collective effort between our dispatch, our call center, and then the technicians that run the calls. So keeps everybody moving, making sure that they're spaced out properly in the right regions to make sure we can get there, you know, in an appropriate time. So yeah, it's definitely a little work of art to make it happen.
Sure, I bet, but phenomenal marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kudos to my wife.
Yeah, for sure. We'll give her the credit. Okay, I'm here with Sean, and Sean, what is your role?
So I'm the call center director for Rooter Ranger.
Call center director for Rooter Ranger. And what does your average day look like?
So it totally varies depending on the day, depending on what we have going on. I kind of oversee the dispatch and the call center departments, making sure we have solid inbound leads coming in, handling any escalations, taking care of our quality leads, as well as getting them dispatched as a priority, making sure we maximize our profit, make sure we maximize our customer satisfaction. 5-star guarantee across the board is what we're all about. So
Wow.
it's pretty intense.
You sound like you're really good at what you do.
It's a nice compliment, thank you.
How long have you been here?
I've been with Rooter Ranger since October of last year.
October of last year. Wow. Where did you come from? What type of background do you have?
So I was in the military for 5 years.
Thank you for your service.
Of course, thank you so much. It was awesome. And then I got out and I wanted to join the trades. I started plumbing and I started doing that. I did that for about 2 years, on and off. I was getting up on roofs every day with one leg. It was pretty intense, actually.
Wow.
And then, after 2 years, I had a kid and I had to slow things down, so I wanted to see the office side, and I joined dispatch. And I found an intense love and passion in dispatch because I got to kind of live vicariously through the technicians out in the field and do all of the background IT stuff, which I love to do anyway. So it was gratifying on like every single level possible. And then that kind of took me into like an inside sales role, and then I met up with Rooter Ranger here in Arizona, and I flew out from Florida to come out here. It's been an incredible experience.
Yeah. What's been the most difficult part of doing what you're doing at Rooter Ranger?
Time management. Wishing I had 25 hours every single day.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
No for sure. Man. And what part, like things are just coming at you a million miles an hour. How do you manage your time to the best of your ability?
Honestly, having a strong team. I can lean on every single one of the people in this room and in that room over there, and without them, I'd be useless, honestly. It really does take an entire village to run things properly here, so for sure.
They say you can go fast alone, but you can go far with people.
That's true. Oh, it's so true. Yeah.
Very true. Well, I appreciate you being on the camera, Sean.
Dude, thank you so much,
Thank you so much. It was great meeting you.
Likewise.
Thank you so much for watching the tour. I greatly appreciate it. If you want to get a hold of Brittany or Jordan, make sure you go check them out. They are phenomenal human beings, and they'd love to hear from you. Also, if you have any interest in anything that I do, I actually own multiple companies myself, and it would mean the world to me if you would consider subscribing if you have not already. Like the video, drop a comment down below, and if you want to see us tour any other business, definitely reach out and let us know, and I look forward to seeing you in the next tour.